I used to believe that thoughts made us who we are. But when my soul left my body, I realized something far more frightening. It is our beliefs that become the most dangerous prison of all. I collapsed on the bathroom floor, hands trembling as I clawed at my throat, desperate for a breath. The room spun around me, my vision blurred. I could hear my own heart pounding in panic, then slowing down, as if each beat was a quiet farewell. No one came. No one knew. I was dying. And strangely, I wasn't panicked like I thought I would be. There was only one question echoing in my mind. Is this the end? Is this all there is? But then, in the moment I thought everything was about to fade away, I started to see. Not a bright light, not angels with wings, but images cutting through me like shards of memory I had long buried. My daughter's face the night I told her I was leaving her father. My mother's hand quietly slipped off the hospital bed because she didn't want to be a burden. The bedroom mirror I always kept turned down because I couldn't stand to see my reflection in the morning. These weren't visions from outside. They exploded from within me, as if my soul had decided to peel itself bare. My name is Emily Dawson. I'm 42 years old, a literature teacher, divorced, living alone in a small, aging apartment in Oregon. I used to be someone who clung to control, ruled by logic, always telling my students to believe in themselves. But the truth is, I never believed in myself. I believed in defense. I moved through life on autopilot, following routines like clockwork. I told myself I was fine, I was strong, I was independent. But every night, I stared at the ceiling, quietly wishing someone would place a hand on my shoulder and whisper, "You don't have to hold it together anymore." Then, one night, just like any other, my body gave out. The asthma attack came fast and hard. I didn't have time to call for help. No final words. And the bitterest truth, I didn't even have time to forgive myself. But the strange part is, I didn't vanish. I was still there. I could see myself motionless on the floor. I could feel a silence that wasn't empty, but full of awareness. And then a voice spoke, not from anyone else, but from somewhere deep inside me. If you are not your emotions, not your thoughts, not your body, then who are you? If you've spent your whole life trying to please others, hiding your weakness, forcing yourself to be strong, let me tell you what happened when I entered a reality no school ever taught me, no teacher ever mentioned, and no book ever dared to write about, a place where I had to face the greatest truth of my life. I am not who I thought I was.
I can't say exactly when I left my body. I just know it didn't feel like anything I had ever experienced before. There was no pain, no struggle, only a separation, light and effortless, like a door swinging open after being locked for 1,000 years. I saw my body lying there, eyes barely open, lips turning blue, and I hovered above the ceiling, watching everything unfold, yet no longer a part of it. Strangely, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't even sad. What I felt was absolute peace, as if I were breathing for the first time, not with lungs, but with the whole of my soul. I was no longer a 42-year-old woman with failing lungs. I was no longer the teacher who had been let go, the mother pushed away, the ex-wife no one mentioned anymore. I was a point of light, aware of itself, a pure stream of consciousness, unbound by names, gender, or any label I once believed defined me. I was pulled into a strange space, not quite light and not quite dark. Everything moved like shimmering water, yet there was no water. No sound echoed, yet I could hear perfectly. No one touched me, yet I felt the unmistakable presence of something or someone familiar. And then my grandmother appeared. Or at least something with her image. Her face as I remembered it, those calm eyes, the warm hands that used to hold me when I was small. But she didn't speak. She only looked at me. And that look broke me open. It wasn't pity, it wasn't comfort. It was a gaze that saw everything. Every secret I had ever buried. Every time I smiled to hide the ache. Every time I wanted to give up but kept going. Every tear I cried in silence while telling myself, "You're strong." I didn't speak, but I thought, and those thoughts rang out like bells in that space. I'm scared. I failed, didn't I? Then, like a gentle current of light, she gave me something I had never truly understood before: acceptance. Without conditions, without judgment, without needing a reason. At that moment, I began to dissolve, not in a negative way, but like layers of false beliefs melting away in sunlight. I stopped clinging to the name Emily. I let go of the roles I had worn like armor. And for the first time, I saw myself completely bare, fragile, and yet heartbreakingly beautiful. Have you ever spent your whole life living as a version of yourself you thought you were, only to realize it was just a mask you wore to avoid being hurt? I went to a place where truth doesn't need to be spoken because it surrounds you like light. There, I didn't just meet my grandmother. I met the real essence of who I was. And you wouldn't believe it? It looked nothing like the woman I had seen in the mirror. I was drifting, not falling, not rising, just gliding sideways through a space that had no gravity, no time, no form. Everything around me shimmered like stardust, and I could feel it was alive. Nothing in that realm existed just to fill emptiness. Everything vibrated. Everything had meaning. They spoke in frequencies, in soundless waves that I understood as if they were a part of my mind that had finally been awakened. Then I saw the three beings. Not quite human in shape, yet not formless either. One radiated a honey gold light, one glowed a soft ocean blue, and the third shimmered like morning mist. They didn't need to introduce themselves. I knew. They were my soul guides, with me long before I was born, walking silently beside me through every heartbreak, every panic, every shattered dream, and every moment I nearly lost myself. One of them, the one with the blue glow, moved closer and spoke, not in words, but in a deep resonance that I felt rather than heard. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the beliefs others planted in you. You are the one who chooses them, and you can choose again. That single message surged through me like a bolt of electricity. Simple, but it dismantled the entire architecture of identity I had built over a lifetime. I had always thought I was introverted, cautious, rational, and unemotional. But the truth was, I had simply chosen to believe that emotions were a weakness. I thought I was strong because I didn't rely on anyone. But in reality, I was so afraid of abandonment that I never allowed anyone close enough to leave. They showed me pieces of my life, not to judge, but to understand. I saw myself as a little girl, sitting quietly in the corner of a classroom because no one wanted to play with me. I saw my mother, always busy, never hearing those tiny dreams I used to whisper. I saw my first love, my first betrayal, and the first time I said to myself, "You can never be weak again." From that moment, I began to build a beautiful, solid fortress, but with no windows. Another being, the one glowing with golden light, gently conveyed this to me. There is nothing wrong with protecting yourself, but you used it to reject yourself. Freedom doesn't come from control. It comes from allowing yourself to be everything, even your weakness. I broke down, not with tears because I had no physical form anymore, but with a wave of energy that pulsed through me like a silent cry. I wasn't a victim. I was the one who chose to defend, to armor, to hide, and now I could choose to let go. Then they showed me an image, a single spark of light shimmering in a vast sea of energy. That was me. No face, no age, no past. Just pure, original light, free and whole. And in that moment, I understood. I had never been broken. I had only forgotten who I truly was. If you've ever felt like you're not enough, if you've ever believed that something is wrong with you, then what came next was the moment you've been waiting for. It was then that I was brought into a space with no memory, no identity, no limit. A realm where I came face to face with my higher self. And the truth is, I didn't recognize myself. But I wished with everything in me that I had remembered that version of me much, much sooner. I was guided through a doorway that had no door at all. It opened through awareness rather than touch. And the moment I surrendered every idea I had ever held about myself, I entered a completely different space. There was no shimmering light as before. Instead, a transparent expanse surrounded me, where each thought appeared like a floating hologram the instant it began to form. I did not move with feet, but with intent. And there I saw myself, yet not as Emily Dawson at 42, not as the woman who collapsed in a bathroom, not as the weary single mother or the former teacher. I saw a radiant, silver-toned presence, tall, powerful, and serene. The light it carried soothed rather than burned, a presence too familiar for words, yet overwhelming in its majesty. This was my original essence, the higher self many people speak of, but few have met. That presence did not scold me for forgetting who I was, nor did it call my painful choices mistakes. Instead, it sent a wave of understanding deep into my awareness. I came to Earth not to be perfect, but to remember. I saw that every decision that once filled me with regret, a broken marriage, a lost job, prolonged loneliness, was never a failure, but a lesson. Those who hurt me were not enemies, they were unnamed teachers. Each wound was not a sentence, but a doorway. I was taken to another realm where countless images drifted like luminous bubbles. Each bubble held another version of me, an Emily who never divorced, an Emily living in another city, an Emily who chose music over teaching. In every life, I still carried the same lesson, the fear of being unloved. Whatever the setting, whatever the partner, wherever the place, the root remained unchanged. I realized I did not need to change the world, I needed to heal the wrong belief. A band of light wrapped around me like invisible arms, and I felt my higher self embrace me with perfect empathy. No words were necessary. No defenses, no shame, only an acknowledgement. I had traveled far to return to myself, and I had done better than I thought. I did not cry as a human might, yet I burst open like a river finding the sea. For the first time in my life, I no longer felt small or abandoned or out of step with the world. I felt like a single ray in the symphony of the cosmos, and though slender, I was irreplaceable. Have you ever wondered what you would do if you could see yourself in your fullest, purest form? What stunned me most was this. I was asked whether I wanted to return to Earth. That choice became the greatest test of my life, not because I feared going back, but because, for the first time, I understood what it truly means to live. I stood, or rather existed, in that radiant, unseen space facing my original essence. I had reached a completeness I had never known. No more questions, no more emptiness, no more nights staring at the ceiling asking, "Who am I?" I had remembered. I was home. Then a question rose, not from anyone, but as if the universe whispered inside me. Do you wish to remain or go back? In that instant, the calm surface rippled. Staying meant dissolving into eternal light, free of pain, worry, or the sting of being misunderstood. Staying meant bathing forever in pure love, where the soul simply is. Returning meant stepping back into a world of doubt and daily challenges, feeling pain through flesh and tears and silences no one sees. I hesitated. I had every reason to stay. A gentle voice inside urged Emily, "You have traveled far enough." Yet my daughter's presence flooded in, not as a physical image, but as a soul-to-soul connection. I felt her crying alone in the bedroom with the purple-flowered curtains. I sensed unspoken questions in her heart. I saw everything I had not done, the hugs I had not held long enough, the deep listening I had never offered, the moments she needed to see that her mother could also be fragile. I knew that if I chose not to return, she would lose the last thread connecting her to love. The golden being appeared again, granting a feeling of complete permission. No pressure, no moral debt, no obligation. Only one clear truth. Returning was not about unfinished missions, but about the chance to love once more, with new awareness, free of conditions and of the need for approval. I answered with thought alone. I will go back, and this time I will not forget who I am. With that decision, everything contracted like a reverse explosion. The light vanished, the higher self receded, and a powerful force pulled me through layers of awareness, each one heavier and denser than the last. I was re-entering my body. I felt the burning in my chest, the icy rush of air into my lungs, the monitors surrounding me, and someone shouting, "She is back." I knew I had never truly left. I had only just returned. If you have ever thought death is the end, prepare yourself. When I came back to life, everything truly began. And the real story is how I learned to live in an old world with a soul made completely new. I opened my eyes. There was no celestial music, no burst of radiance, only the dim glow of fluorescent lights, the smell of disinfectant, and the steady beep of a heart monitor. My body felt like stone, my throat burned, and my lungs seemed to have escaped a firestorm. A nurse beside me startled when I moved and called for the doctor, yet I felt no fear. I was no longer the Emily they once knew. A few days later, when I could speak, the doctors called my recovery a miracle. They could not explain how I survived a severe asthma attack without neurological damage. They did not know that more than my body had been saved, my soul had been restored. I kept my experience private at first, not from fear of disbelief, but because I was learning to meet a version of myself I had never known, calm, clear, and unafraid of death. I began living again, but not in the old way. I no longer woke up to endure another day. I woke up grateful for one more. I rewrote my journal, not to remember, but to release. In the mirror, I saw the light behind my eyes. I called my daughter, apologized without excuses, and listened without interruption. I shared my story, bit by bit, with others who were also bracing themselves just to keep going. I did not become a preacher or a best-selling author. I am simply a person who once died and discovered how to live. I breathe not merely to survive, but to feel each current of air reminding me that I am still here. I love without chains, forgive without conditions, and let go without feeling loss. I return to teaching, not just to analyze literature, but to plant seeds. In every student, I see my younger self, and I smile because every soul is learning the way home. You may finish this story uncertain whether any of it is real. That is all right. I once doubted too, until I died. If you are alive and still feel empty, some part of you may already be numb to life. Believe me, you are not your emotions, not your failures, not the weary voice in your mind that whispers you are not enough. You are light. You are a being beyond every limit, and you can choose again at any moment, even now.